Vidya is very significant. Avidya of ignorance, ignorance. Avidya means forgetfulness of one's identity. Every one of us is a spirit soul, but we have forgotten. We think I am this body. This is called avidya. Samshaya granthi means doubtfulness. The knot of doubtfulness is tied when the soul identifies with the material world. That knot is also called ahankara, the junction of matter and spirit. By proper knowledge received from the scriptures in disciplic succession and by proper application of that knowledge, one can free himself from this binding combination of matter and spirit. Brahma assures Devahuti that her son will enlighten her, and after enlightening her, he will travel all over the world distributing the system of Sankhya philosophy. The word samshaya means doubtful knowledge. Speculative and pseudo-yogic knowledge is all doubtful. At the present moment, the so-called yoga system is prosecuted on the understanding that by agitation of the different stations of the bodily construction, one can find that he is God. Mental speculators think similarly, but they are all doubtful. Real knowledge is expounded in Bhagavad Gita. Just become Krishna conscious. Just worship Krishna and become a devotee of Krishna. That is real knowledge. And anyone who follows that system becomes perfect without a doubt. Okay, then we come to 19. Ayam siddha ganadishyaha Sankhyacharya susammataha loke kapila ityakhyam gantate kirti vardhanaha. Your son will be the head of all the perfected soul. He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge, and among the people he will be celebrated by the name Kapila. As a son of Devahuti, he will increase your name. Okay. Ayam susammata. So this particular acharya, Lord Kapila, he is very well approved according to Vedic principles. Iti. This leads us to conclude. Anyastu siddha visheshaha kapilaha darshanakarta na sushtu sammataha. That the other Kapila, who had attained some mystic perfections and who was the founder of a particular philosophical system, he is not fully approved. Susammataha means fully approved. Su indicates very nicely approved. Veda viruddha anishwaravadat, because he presents an atheistic ideology which is opposed to the teachings of the Vedas themselves. And there is a statement from Padma Purana that has been quoted by the commentators. Kapilo Vasudevakhyas Tattvam Sankhya Jagadaha Brahmadibhyascha Devebhyo Bhrigvadibhyas Tathaivacha Tathaivasureye Sarva Vedarthair Upabramhitam Sarva Veda Viruddham Cha Kapilonyo Jagadaha Sankhya Masuraye Nyasmai Utarka Paribhritam. Kapila is known as Vasudeva, and he spoke the truth of Sankhya to Brahma, to the other Devas, to Bhrigu and the other sages. And he also spoke to Asuri. It looks like Asuri was one Brahman. His teaching is an elucidation of the teachings of all the Vedas. Then there was another Kapila. He spoke a teaching which is opposed to all the Vedas. He spoke his Sankhya to another Asuri, Brahmani. And his teachings are filled with very bad argumentation. Sankhya philosophy is a philosophical system enunciated by Kapila, son of Devahuti. The other Kapila, who is not the son of Devahuti, is an imitation. This is the statement of Brahma. And because we belong to Brahma's disciplic succession, we should accept a statement that the real Kapila is the son of Devahuti, and the real Sankhya philosophy is the system of philosophy which he introduced and which will be accepted by the acharyas, the directors of spiritual discipline. The word susammata means accepted by persons who are counted upon to give their good opinion. Okay, but I should trace this out. Says Shankara Bhashya, very big surprise. Let me examine this, whether he said it or what it is. Okay, 20. Maitreya Vacha. तावाश्वास्य जगत् स्रष्टा कुमारै सह नारदः हमसो हमसेन यानेन त्रिधाम paramam yayau. Sri Maitreya said, after thus speaking to Kardama Muni and his wife Devahuti, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, who is also known as Hamsa, went back to the highest of the three planetary systems on his swan carrier with the four Kumaras and Narada. Kumarai Saha iti Sheshaha. Why does it say Kumarai Saha? Saha anyway comes here. It looks like he has a different reading. Maricyadin vivahartham avasthapya naishtikaihi etaihi panchabihi sahitaha hamsaha brahma tridhama tritiyam dhama swargas tasmadapi paramam satyalokam. So he had brought Marichi and the other sages so that they could get married. So he left them behind. Then with these five, the four Kumaras and Narada Muni, who are all Naishtikas, they are all Naishtika brahmacharis. He took them. He went with them back to Satyaloka, which is beyond even the three worlds. Okay. Check if there's a different reading out here. What is this verse? This is 20. 20, 20, 20. Kumarai Sahanarada only it's there. So it looks like Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's reading, we don't know. Okay. The words Hamsena Yanena are very significant here. By a swan carrier. On the swan carrier. Hamsayana, the airplane by which Brahma travels all over outer space, resembles a swan. Brahma is also known as Hamsa because he can grasp the essence of everything. His abode is called Tridhama Parama. There are three divisions of the universe, the upper planetary system, the middle planetary system, and the lower planetary system. But his abode is above even Siddhaloka, the upper planetary system. He returned to his own planet with the four Kumaras and Narada because they were not going to be married. The other rishis who came with him, such as Marichi and Atri, remained there because they were to be married to the daughters of Gardama. But his other sons, Sanat, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Narada, went back with him in his swan-shaped airplane. The four Kumaras and Narada are Naishtika brahmacharis. Naishtika brahmachari refers to one who never wastes his semen at any time. They were not to attend the marriage ceremony of their other brothers, Marichi and the other sages, and therefore they went with their father, Hamsa. Okay, 21. Gate shatadhritau takta kardamastena choditaha yathoditam svatuputri radad vishwasrajam tataha. O Vidura, after the departure of Brahma, Kardama Muni, having been ordered by Brahma, handed over his 9 daughters as instructed to the 9 great sages who created the population of the world. Shatadhritau Brahmani Yatha Uditam Shastra Uditam Annatikramya. When Lord Brahma had gone, after Lord Brahma had departed, Kardama Muni, he gave away his own daughters to these sages, Vishwasrujyaha, to these sages who are going to be creators of the world's population in accordance with the instructions of Lord Brahma, which is in line with Shastra. Shastroditam Annatikramya. Without transgressing the teachings of the scripture, he did this. So in all matters, we should be conscious of the teachings of the spiritual master, the predecessor acharyas, and Shastra. Shastra is always the highest authority. Okay. Marriages should not be attended by brahmacharis. First of all, brahmachari, the spelling itself is wrong. Brahmachari has a totally different. But I understand your point. Should not be attended by brahmacharis. For giving blessings, one can attend. No, it's not KNOW, it is NO, comma NO. For giving blessings, what blessings you're going to give? You're going to give blessings. May there be an increase of Vairagya Vidya and Bhagavad Bhakti. That is the blessings in Madhva Sampradaya all the sannyasis give to everyone. Let everybody attain Vairagya Vidya and Narayana Bhakti. That is a proper blessing. But that if you give it on the day of wedding, I don't know what they'll do. Anyway, these things the householder should do. Why the non-householder should worry about all these things. 22 and 23. Marichaye kalam pradat anasuyamathatre shraddham angirase yakshat pulastyaya havirbhvam pulahaya gatim yuktam kratave chat priyam satim kyatim cha bhrigave yakshad vasishthayaapyarandhatim. Kardama Muni handed over his daughter Kala to Marichi and another daughter Anasuya to Atri. He delivered Shraddha to Angira and Havirbhu to Pulastya. He delivered Gati to Pulaha, the chaste Priya to Kratu, Khyati to Bhrigu, and Arundhati to Vasishtha. Look at this. Kaladya Sarva Eva Bhagavad Chatvena Yojya. All of these were empowered by the potency of the Supreme Personality of God. All these girls were meant to be accepted as potencies of the Supreme Lord. 24. Right? 22, 23. Okay, 23. Yuktam, Yogyam. Where is Yuktam? Gatim Yuktam, suitable. He gave Gati to Pulaha. The word suitable is meant to be applied for all the girls. As each girl was suitable for each particular Rishi, he made that arrangement. 24. Atharvane dadat shantim yaya yagyo vitanyate viprasya bhan kritodvahan sadharan samalalayat. He delivered Shanti to Atharva. Because of Shanti, sacrificial ceremonies are well performed. Thus, he got the foremost Brahmanas married and he maintained them along with their wives. Yaya iti. Shantya eva tapaha yajna jnana yajna. What again yajna? Something is wrong. 24. Tapo yajna jnana yajna. Oh, okay, I understand. Tapo yajna jnana yajna adya vistrita sapala bhavanti. It's only by the blessings of this Shanti Devi that Tapoyagya and Tapoyagya, Jnana Yagya, and so on can become successful. Activation ceremonies are well performed. Tapoyagya is one type of sacrifice, Jnana Yagya is another type of sacrifice, like that. We come across a list of different sacrifices in Bhagavad Gita itself, 4th chapter. Okay, 25. Tatastha Rishaya Kshapta Kritadara Nimantriya Tam Pratishtan Nandimapanna Swam Swam Ashram Mandalam. Thus married, the sages took leave of Kardama and departed full of joy, each for his own hermitage, O Vidura. Nimantriya, Krishtva, Nandim, Harsham. So they took leave of Narada, they took permission from, they took leave of Kardama, they took permission from Kardama to leave, and then with happiness they went to their respective abodes. Sannyasi also should not attend marriages, it is said, but we see many attend their disciples' marriage. What can be done? 26. Sachavatirnam Triyugam Agyaya Vibhudharshabham Vivukta Upasangamya Pranamya Samabhashata. When Kardama Muni understood that the Supreme Personality of God is the chief of all the demigods, Vishnu had descended, Kardama approached him in a secluded place, offered obeisances, and spoke as follows. Sacha Munihi. Refers to the sage, Kardama. So Kardama then approached him in a secluded place, offered obeisances to him, and spoke as follows to him. Lord Vishnu is called Triyuga. He appears in 3 yugas, Satya, Treta, and Dwapara. But in Kali Yuga, he does not appear. From the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, however, we understand that he appears garbed as a devotee in Kali Yuga. So notice this expression, Triyuga. Triyugam Vishnu. From the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, however, we understand that he appears garbed as a devotee in Kali Yuga. Channa Kalau. Lord Chaitanya is that devotee. Krishna appeared in the form of a devotee. But although he never disclosed himself, Rupa Goswami could understand his identity, for the Lord cannot hide himself from a pure devotee. Rupa Goswami detected him when he offered his first obeisances to Lord Chaitanya. He knew that Lord Chaitanya was Krishna himself and therefore offered his obeisances with the following words. I offer my respects to Krishna, who has now appeared as Lord Chaitanya. This is also confirmed in the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. In Kali Yuga, he does not directly appear, but he appears as a devotee. Vishnu is therefore known as Triyuga. Another explanation of Triyuga is that he has 3 pairs of divine attributes, namely power and affluence, piety and renown, and wisdom and dispassion. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashasya jnanavairagyayoschaiva shannam bhaga itingana. There are 6 opulences, so they are considered to be 3 pairs of opulences. According to Sridhar Swami, his 3 pairs of opulences are complete riches and complete strength, complete fame and complete beauty, and complete wisdom and complete renunciation. There are different interpretations of Triyuga, but it is accepted by all learned scholars that Triyuga means Vishnu. When Kardama Muni understood that his son Kapila was Vishnu himself, he wanted to offer his obeisances. Therefore, when Kapila was alone, he offered his respects and expressed his mind as follows. Okay, question.
Prabhuji, in 24th translation, it is written that Kardama Muni maintained those sages along with their wives. So, what is this maintenance? How he maintained them?
Must be some of these ceremonies immediately after wedding. You have to look into the Dharma Shastras for all these rituals.
Means they stayed there for some more days at his ashram?
Could be. Could be.
Okay. And in this present verse 26, so Kardama Muni is just meditating. Like it is written, he approached him in a secluded place. That means he approached him in mind?
No. No. He approached Lord Kapila in a secluded place. When
But
Lord
Lord
Kapila
Kapila
was...
is in the womb.
What?
He is in the womb.
What?
Lord Kapila is in the womb of his mother, no, at this time.
I think he's already born by now. Isn't it? Okay, wait. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. That's a very interesting question. Let's have a look. Yeah. He understood that the Lord had descended. That means he has descended. And Lord Kapila is already speaking to him. Kapila Muni circumambulates Kardama. He goes away and takes sannyas. And I think in the next chapter, Lord Kapila stayed near Bindu Sarovar. No, I think he's already... What this means is Lord Kapila had already taken birth, and having understood that this is Lord Vishnu himself, when Lord Kapila was in a secluded place, he approached him. That's what it means.
Okay, bro. Thank you, bro.
27. Aho papachya mananam niraye swairamangalai kalena bhuyasa nunam prasidantiha devata. Kardamuni said, oh, after a long time, the demigods of this universe have become pleased with the suffering souls who are in material entanglement because of their own misdeeds. Madgrihe tvad avirbhave nirupadhistvat kripa eva karanam na mayi kinchin lakshanamasti tyaha. That you have appeared in my house is caused simply by your unconditional mercy, causeless mercy, unmotivated mercy. I don't have any auspicious eligibility for this. That he conveys it in 3 verses beginning with text 27. अत्र लोके त्रिविधा जना दृश्यन्ते देवतांतर उपासकाः ब्रह्म उपासकाः भगवत उपासकाश्च. In this world, 3 types of people who accept Vedic authority are seen. Those who worship deities other than Lord Vishnu, those who worship the impersonal Brahman, and those who worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tatra adhyana upasana phaladasham darshayati. So, first of all, he points out the result of engaging in such worship. Papachyamananam niraye samsare dandahyamananam भूयसा इति एकस्मिन् अपि जन्मनि चेत् प्रसीदन्ति तदपि भूयसा एव कालेन न तु शीघ्रमेव. For those who are afflicted in hell, hell is this material existence itself. So this actually refers to the souls who are suffering in the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. Bhuyasa kalena. After a long time, if the devatas, the demigods become pleased, notice this. This is after a long period of time. Tataha cha tat kamitani phalani api dadati. Only then these demigods will fulfill their desired results. Okay, question.
So in the previous verse it is written, Rupa Goswami detected Lord Chaitanya as Krishna when he first offered his obeisances. So how
Hmm.
he understood that he is Krishna?
Because he's, first of all, he's a learned scholar. Apart from that, he is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna cannot hide himself from him. He was supposed to explicate the higher teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, he was capable of understanding that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself.
He was not showing any of his form or he was revealing in his heart something like that. No, right?
If he did not make Rupa Goswami understand from within, how will Rupa Goswami know? Yam me vaishya tena labhyaha. The one whom the Lord chooses will be able to attain him, understand him, and attain him. Okay, let's go on. This material world is a place for suffering, which is due to the misdeeds of the inhabitants, the conditioned souls themselves. The sufferings are not extraneously imposed upon them. Rather, the conditioned souls create their own suffering by their own acts. In the forest, fire takes place automatically. It is not that someone has to go there and set a fire. Because of friction among various trees, fire occurs automatically. When there is too much heat from the forest fire of this material world, the demigods, including Brahma himself, being harassed, approach the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and appeal to him to alleviate the condition. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends. In other words, when the demigods become distressed by the sufferings of the conditioned souls, they approach the Lord to remedy the suffering, and the Personality of Godhead descends. When the Lord descends, all the demigods become enlivened. Therefore, Karadamuni said, after many, many years of human suffering, all the demigods are now satisfied because Kapila Deva, the incarnation of Godhead, has appeared. So one interesting point is human beings face that they suffer is known, but it is only after so many years that the demigods are now satisfied. Because that pious human beings, they worship the demigods, and the demigods fulfill their prayers also. But even that does not fully satisfy them, because only when Lord Vishnu appears, the demigods are actually satisfied. Demigods are also Vaishnavas. Okay, another question.
Prabhu, regarding to this suffering, so living entity suffers because of his past karma, and in many many births he committed sinful activities. He suffers. So when he takes the shelter of the spiritual master, it is said that at the time of initiation, all the sinful activities becomes nil. So then after initiation, then how he suffers? If he suffers also, if does his sinful activities, he is not going to perform the four, not performing, breaking the four regulative principles. So thus minor uh, uh, problems may cannot create the big suffering.
There are different levels of, there are different grades of karmic reactions. To whatever extent one uh, surrenders to Lord Krishna at the time of initiation, to that extent his karmic reactions will be deleted. So karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam is correct. But that is proportionate to how much one is surrendered unto Krishna. Diksha kale bhakta kore atma samarpan. At the time of Diksha, the candidate is meant to fully surrender unto Lord Krishna. Surrender means 6 items of surrender. So if all of these things are not executed, then here, and some, but some are executed, then to that extent his karmic reactions will be taken away. So if he has entered into a life of surrender, airtight surrender, then he'll be protected from his karmic reactions. And then whatever material happiness or material unhappiness he experiences, will be directly given by Lord Krishna. But if he is not fully surrendered, to whatever extent he is not fully surrendered, to that extent he is getting it from his own karmic reactions. And the remainder of material happiness and material unhappiness is given by Lord Krishna. Material unhappiness because of offenses. Material happiness because of executing devotion service to Lord Vishnu properly as a side benefit.
So it is not true that if someone is choosing taking the initiation, then it is not recommended that one should complete his all sufferings in from previous life or sinful activities results.
No, if at the time of initiation one fully surrenders unto Krishna, then all of his karmic reactions are deleted. Krishna himself says that no, sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja, aham tvam sarva papebhya. All karmic reactions from the past will be deleted. But you have to surrender. So if you surrender only 20%, then Krishna will remove only 20%. Okay.
So
20.
how will I understand that how much percent I am removing my karmic reactions or not?
First of all, it's very easy to understand how much we are surrendered to Krishna. So then what is the big surprise? I'm not fully surrendered to Krishna. So obviously I cannot expect full relief from karmic reactions. That's all. 28. बहुजन्म विपक्वेन सम्यग् योग समाधिना द्रष्टुम यतन्ते यतयः शून्यागारेषु यत्पदम्. After many births, mature yogis, by complete trance in yoga, endeavor in secluded places to see the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Saratadarshan takes them together. I'll read the next text and translation and get back. 29. Saiva Bhagavan Adya Heranam na Ganayana Griheshu Jato Gramyanam Yah Swanam Pakshaposhanaha. Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in our homes just to support his devotees. द्वितीयानां तु बहुभिरेव जन्मभिः सिद्धिः संभाव्यते इत्याह. The possibility of attaining Brahman realization, which is the perfection for those who are worshippers of the Brahman feature of Bhagavan, can come about only after several lifetimes. That is noted here. Bahu iti. Samyagyeva yogaihi yah samadhi. And that also happens when they are perfect in yoga samadhi, trance in yoga. When they have come to the point of perfect trance in yoga, that itself for several lifetimes. Tena yasya tava padam nirvishesha swarupam drashtuhu sakshat kartum yataha not yataste yatante. Sakshat kartum yatante. Yatante. तृतीयेषु मध्ये वयम् अतिमन्दाः तदपि तत्कृपा महिमा अपार. So anyway, so those who desire to experience your impersonal feature, they endeavor for several lifetimes, and in each lifetime with complete trance in yoga, perfect trance in yoga, they only get that much. Okay. But amongst the third type, we are worshipping Bhagavan. We are actually most dull. Still, the glory of your mercy upon us who are worshipping Bhagavan, you yourself in your original feature of Bhagavan. That is boundless, and that is pointed out here in text 29. Helanam Lokakrita avagyam swalaghavam na ganaya aganayatva, not considering the insignificance of householders like us. We are criticized by the whole world, of course, those who accept Vedic authority and who know the process of progress, spiritual progress. Despite that, without slightly even considering that, swabhaveva te mad bhakta abhyasan api utkarshayasi. It is your very nature that you exalt those who are engaged in the very practice of devotional service. Actually, it would be like you exalt those of us who are even just reflections of devotion, devotee. We are just reflections of proper devotees to you. We are not even full-fledged devotees. We are a semblance of devotees to you. But still, it is your very nature that you don't bother about all these things. Yahatvam swanam bhaktanam paksham ushnasi. You nourish the group of your own devotees. Taneva atmiyan janasi. You accept them as your own relatives. That is the implication. Some important things are mentioned here about yoga. The word Bahu Janma Vipakvena means after many, many births of mature yoga practice. And another word, Samyak Yoga Samadhina, means by complete practice of the yoga system. Complete practice of yoga means Bhakti Yoga. Unless one comes to the point of Bhakti Yoga or surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's yoga practice is not complete. This same point is corroborated in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. After many, many births, the Jnani was matured in transcendental knowledge, surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of God. So, not only does this verse refer to the impersonalists, impersonalistic practitioners, it also applies to worshippers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Swanishtha devotees. They take several lifetimes because they are trying to move from Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga to Ashtanga Yoga to Bhakti Yoga. Initially, Bhakti Yoga mixed with Ashtanga Yoga and then to pure Bhakti Yoga, after which they will enter into Bhava Bhakti Prayoga. So that entire process takes several lifetimes because one starts off with material desires and then he wants to experience the material desires and become free from material desires. So that is the Swanishta method of progress, and that takes several births. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. Narada Muni repeats the same statement after many, many years and many, many births of complete practice of yoga. One can see the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord in a secluded place. It is not that after one practices some sitting postures, he immediately becomes perfect. One has to perform yoga a long time, many, many births to become mature. A yogi has to practice in a secluded place. One cannot practice yoga in a city or in a public park, declare that he has become God simply by some exchange of dollars. This is all bogus propaganda. Those who are actually yogis practice in a secluded place. And after many, many births, they become successful, provided they surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the completion of yoga. See, the very process of yoga is the very opposite of materialism. In materialism, we are trying to experience as much as possible an ever-increasing combination of favorable material, sound, form, touch, taste, smell. In other words, one is trying to endeavor for sense gratification and various forms of luxuries and so on. It is all external. Whereas in yoga, it is completely internal. Therefore, Therefore, there are all these arrangements. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dhyana, Dharana, Samadhi. One has to sit down so that he begins to put his focus internally. Internally. It's internal realization. Realization that one is not the body, and realization that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the very ultimate sustainer and the ultimate soul of the soul in itself. So it is for that purpose. So the very process of yoga is the antithesis of materialism. Materialism is one direction, and the yoga process is another direction. Bhakti yoga also. All the restrictions of Ashtanga yoga are meant to be applied in Bhakti yoga. All the restrictions of Jnana yoga are already applied in Ashtanga yoga. And all the restrictions of Karma yoga are already applied in Jnana yoga. So in Vairagya Vidya and Vishnu Bhakti, each process, each later process is actually superior. Jnana yoga to Karma yoga, Dhyana yoga to Jnana yoga, Bhakti yoga to Dhyana yoga. 29. Devotees are so fortunate. Devotees are so affectionate towards the personality of Godhead that although he does not appear before those who practice yoga in a secluded place, even for many, many births, he agrees to appear in a householder's home where devotees engage in devotion service without material yoga practice. In other words, devotion service to the Lord is so easy that even a householder can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one of the members of his household, as his son, as Karda Muni experienced. He was a householder, although a yogi, but he had the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila Muni, as his son. Devotion service is such a powerful transcendental method that it surpasses all other methods of transcendental realization. The Lord therefore says that he lives neither in Vaikuntha nor in the heart of a yogi, but lives where his pure devotees are always chanting and glorifying him. Aham tisthami Vaikunthe, na yoginam hridayeshu va, tatra tisthami narada, yatra gayanti madbhakta. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Bhakta Vatsala. He is never described as Jnani Vatsala or Yogi Vatsala. He is always described as Bhakta Vatsala because he is more inclined toward his devotees than toward other transcendentalists. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that only a devotee can understand him as he is. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. One can understand me only by devotion service, not otherwise. That understanding alone is real because although Jnanis, mental speculators, can realize only the effulgence or the bodily luster of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and yogis can realize only the partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A bhakta not only realizes him as he is, but also associates with the personality of Godhead face to face. So the yogis only experience the Lord. Pareshanubhavaha and viraktihi anyatra cha. These two are there in him. But the bhakta, he experiences bhakti, pareshanubhava, and viraktir anyatra cha. Of course, we are talking of pure yogis, pure bhaktas, and so on. 30. स्वीयं वाक्यं ऋतं कर्तुम् अवतीर्णोऽसि मे गृहे चिकीर्षुर्भगवान् ज्ञानं भक्तानां मानवर्धनः. Karda Muni said, you, my dear Lord, who are always increasing the honor of your devotees, have descended in my home just to fulfill your word and disseminate the process of real knowledge. Etadeva prapanchayati dvabhyam. This is now elaborated. What is spoken, the last verse, is now being elaborated in 2 verses. Jnanam. Jnanam. Knowledge. Chikirshuhu. Jnana sadhanam sankhyam chikirshuhu. Tadapi jnanibhyaha. Sakashadavi bhaktanam manam adaram vardhayati iti saha. The Supreme Lord desires to disseminate spiritual knowledge, and more than that, he desires to increase the honor of his bhaktas. Bhaktim vina bhuta jnanasya akinchit karatvena vyavasthapanaditi bhava. The implication is, without mixing Bhagavad Jnana with Bhagavad Bhakti, that Jnana is insignificant. It may be knowledge, even about the Supreme Lord, but still one has to engage in all aspects of Bhagavad Bhakti. That is the arrangement that is there. Okay, question.
Prabhu, I was stuck at the point where Tri Yuga was described in purport of 26th verse. So, Srila Sridhar Swami is describing Tri Yuga as the three pairs of opulence. And just above that, the explanation is divine attributes of power, affluence, piety, renown, wisdom, dispassion. So these two are a little different, these two sets.
So they're the same. Same.
Okay. The dispassion is renunciation.
Dispassion is renunciation, yes, of course.
And the renown is fame. But piety, I could not understand. What is piety with that six opulences?
Look at this. Affluence, rich. Okay. Power, strength, piety, must be beauty, renown, fame, wisdom, dispassion, renunciation. In Sanskrit, the word Shubha can mean piety, it also means beauty. Okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, fine, let's go on. When the Lord appeared before Kardama Muni after his mature yoga practice, he promised that he would become Kardama's son. He descended as a son of Kardama Muni in order to fulfill that promise. So this is the promise. He had promised, this is Lord Shukla's promise. Lord Shukla had promised that he would become Kardama's son. He descended as a son of Kardama Muni in order to fulfill that promise. Another purpose of his appearance is Chikirshuhu, Bhagavan Jnana, distribute knowledge. Okay, wait. Chikirshuhu. Just need to do a quick check. Chikirshuhu, Kartum Ichuhu. And in the translation, Gyan Sadhan Sankhya Shastra Upadesh Puribarjanna. So Chikirshuhu has a sense of wanting to instruct this knowledge. Literally, it means wanting to do. Chikirshu means wanting to do, but when applied to knowledge, it means to instruct the knowledge or to distribute the knowledge. Therefore, he is called Bhaktana Manavardhanaha, he who increases the honor of his devotees. By distributing Sankhya, he would increase the honor of the devotees. Therefore, Sankhya philosophy is not dry mental speculation. Sankhya philosophy means devotion service. How could the honor of the devotees be increased unless Sankhya were meant for devotion service? Unless Sankhya were not meant for devotion service, should be. The devotees are not interested in speculative knowledge. Therefore, the Sankhya enunciated by Kapila Muni is meant to establish one firmly in devotion service. Real knowledge and real liberation is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in devotion service. 31. Tanyeva tebhi rupani bhagavans tava yani cha rochante svajananam arupinaha. My dear Lord, although you have no material form, you have your own innumerable forms. They truly are your transcendental forms which are pleasing to your devotees. te tava nitya sachidanandasya tani eva rupani abhirupani samuchitani sachidananda ghanani ityartha yani tava swajananam swajanebhyah रोचन्ते इति अन्यानि अरोचकानि वस्तुतः त्वदीयानि रूपाणि न भवन्ति किन्तु मायिकानि एव. Your eternal Satchidananda forms, that means forms which are concentrated Satchidananda, they are appropriate and very pleasing. They're very pleasing to your own persons. That means to your own devotees. So from this, it is understood that the other forms are not your forms. They are simply forms produced by Maya. Yataha arupinaha prakrit rupa rahitasya iti swami charananam vyakhya. Because you have no material form. This is the explanation of Srila Sridhar Swami. Vairaja rupasya kaischid bhaktaihi prathamadashayam dheyatvena rochakatve api ayatyam arochakatvad. Even the universal form might be pleasing to some devotees in the first stage as an object of meditation. Still, finally, ultimately, it is not pleasing to them. Tadapi rupam prakritatva. Because that form is also material. Na bhagavata swiyam rupam ityashaya. Because that is not the Supreme Lord's original form. Arupina, prakrita rupa rahitasya. Right there. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Lord is one absolute, but he has ananta or innumerable forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. The Lord is the original form, but still he has multi-forms. Those multi-forms are manifested by him transcendently according to the tastes of his multi-devotees. It is understood that once Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, said that he knew that Narayana, the husband of Lakshmi, and Rama, the husband of Sita, are one and the same. And that there is no difference between Lakshmi and Sita. But as for himself, he liked the form of Lord Ram. In a similar way, some devotees worship the original form of Krishna. When we say Krishna, we refer to all forms of the Lord. Not only Krishna, but Rama, Narasimha, Varaha, Narayana, etc. The varieties of transcendental forms exist simultaneously. That is also stated in the Brahma Samhita. Ramadi Murtishu, Nanavatara Makarot. He already exists in multi forms, but none of the forms are material. Sridhar Swami has commented that Arupinaha, without form, means without material form. The Lord has form. Otherwise, how can it be stated here? Tanyeva te bhi rupani, rupani, bhagavam stava. You have your forms, but they are not material. Materially, you have no form, but spiritually, transcendently, you have multi forms. Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand these transcendental forms of the Lord. And being disappointed, they say that the Supreme Lord is impersonal. But that is not a fact. Whenever there is form, there is a person. Many times, in many Vedic literatures, the Lord is described as Purusha, which means the original form, the original enjoyer. The conclusion is that the Lord has no material form, and yet, according to the liking of different grades of devotees, he simultaneously exists in multi forms, such as Rama, Narasimha, Varaha, Narayana, and Mukunda. There are many thousands and thousands of forms, but they are all Vishnu Tattva, Krishna. 32. Tvam suribhistattva sadabhivadar Aishwarya Vairagya Yasho Vabodh Virya Shriya Purtam Maham Prapadye. See, all the 6 opulences are right here. They're enlisted here. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the reservoir that always deserves to receive worshipful homage from all great sages eager to understand the absolute truth. You're full in opulence, renunciation, transcendental fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty, and therefore I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. Question.
Prabhu, I'm having little difficulty in getting this point from purport number 30, that Bhaktana Man Vardhanaha. How Lord's coming and giving this knowledge of Sankhya is increasing the honor of devotees?
Because he is always going to be referred to as Kapila, the son of Devahuti, the son of Kardami Kapila. So always the devotees will get glorified. He will be identified with his parents, who are none but his devotees. Therefore,
Yes, Prabhu.
भक्तजनरोचकस्य अभिरूपस्य लक्षणं वदन् एव श्री कपिलदेवं विशिनष्टि त्वामेति. While describing the characteristic, the identifying characteristic of the very pleasing form, the very pleasing personality, who is so dear to his devotees, he characterizes Lord Sri Kapila Deva. Aishwaryadinam Shannam Bhagashabdavachyanam Chinmaya Gunanam Purtam Mahatadagam. They are like a great body of water that contains these transcendental qualities which are referred to by the word Bhaga. These are the 6 transcendental features beginning with Aishwarya. Aishwarya, Vairagya, Yashaha, Avabodha, Virya, Shriya, Shri. All the 6. Tena Bhaktanam Abhivadana, Archana, Paricharya, Adi, Vishirvutam, Shadaishwarya, Purnam Swarupam, Eva, Prakritam, Tavarupam, Iti Dyotitam. So it is indicated that he is saying that it is this very form that is transcendental. This form is full of these 6 opulences, and it is the very object of the respectful greetings and obeisances offered by the devotees, by their worship unto him, by their various menial services unto him, and so on. Actually, those who are searching after the absolute truth must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship him. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advised Arjuna many times to surrender unto him, especially at the end of the 9th chapter, One Manabhava Madhyutta. If you want to be perfect, just always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your obeisances to me. In this way, you will understand me, the personality of God, and ultimately you will come back to me, back to Godhead, back home. Why is it so? The Lord is always full in 6 opulences as mentioned here. Wealth, renunciation, fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty. The word Purta means in full. The word Purta also means a large body of water, a large lake or a tank of water. No one can claim that all wealth belongs to him, but Krishna can claim it since he has full wealth. Similarly, he is full in knowledge, renunciation, strength, and beauty. He is full in everything, and no one can surpass him. Another one of Krishna's names is Asamordha, one who has no equal and no superior, which means that no one is equal to or greater than him. 33. Param Pradhanam Purusham Mahantam Kalam Kavim Trivritam Lokapalam Atmanubhutyanu Prapancham Swachanda Shaktim Kapilam Prapadye. I surrender unto the Supreme Personality of God, descended in the form of Kapila, who is independently powerful and transcendental, who is the Supreme Person and the Lord of the sum total of matter and the element of time, who is the fully cognizant maintainer of all universes under the 3 modes of material nature, and who absorbs the material manifestations after their dissolution. Aishwaryam Vivranvan eva anabhirupamapyaha. One minute. What is this verse? 33. Let me first of all check whether the reading is correct. Aishwaryam Vivranvaneva anabhirupam apyaha. So while he is elaborating on the opulences of the Lord, he is also talking about those features which are not very much desired by him or which are not very much pleasing. Param Twataha Anyam Bahiranga Rupam Pradhanadikam Api Tvam Kapilameva Prapanye. I surrender unto you, Lord Kapila, who is also Pradhana and all these other external forms which are actually different from you. Tattu Pradhanam Prakriti Rupam Purusham Jivam Mahantam Mahattattva Rupam Kalam Tesham Shobhakam Kavim Sutra Tattva Rupam Trivritam Ahankara Rupam Lokapalam Indradhyatmakam. And it consists of Pradhanam, which is the form of Prakriti itself, Purusham, which refers to the Jivas in total, Mahantam, which is the Mahatattva, Kalam, the force of time that agitates the Mahatattva and so on, Kavim, the Sutra Tattva, Trivritam. Trivritam refers to the three forms of false ego, Lokapalam, which refers to the 8 Lokapalas, the demigods, beginning with Indra. Kimcha Prapancha Antaryamitvat Prapancha Rupatvam Aha. And because he is the inner ruler, Antaryami, the super soul of Prapancha, material existence, Prapancha itself is a form of him. Material existence is a form of him. Atmanubhutya, Chikshaktya, Pramachad, Bhagistitena Api. Even though you are situated distinctly away from, outside of material existence, by dint of your own realization, which means by dint of your spiritual potency, Anugataha, Anupravishtaha, Prapanchaha, Yena Tam, you have entered into Prapancha or material existence. Prapancha Hetuttvadapi Prapancha Rupatvam Aha. There's another reason why material existence is your form, because you are the cause of material existence, of Prapancha. Swachandaha, Swadhinaha, Shaktayaha, Maya, Adyaha, Yasyattam. Maya and the other potencies are completely under your control. Twad Ichaya, by your desire, Maya Adibhihi, Shaktibhi Eva, Sarva Prapanchasya Nimittatvat. Because it is simply by your desire that the potencies such as Maya become the cause of the entirety of material existence. Maya Adinam Tat Shaktitvena Abhinnatvat. Because Maya and the other potencies, being his potencies, are non different from him. Tat Karyanam Tat Abhinnatvat. Being his effects are non different from him. Tava eva idam sarvam mayikam rupam. So all of these material forms are your forms. Annabhirupam ityarsaha. But they are not very pleasing. The 6 opulences, wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, are indicated here by Kardama Muni, who addresses Kapila Muni, his son, as Param. And there are other meanings to this. Very interestingly, Prabhupada points these out. The word Param is used in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the phrase Param Satyam. In the phrase Param Satyam to refer to the Samam Bonam, the supreme good or the supreme personality of God. Param is explained further by the next word Pradhanam, which means the chief, the origin, the source of everything. Sarvakarana Karana, the cause of all causes. The supreme personality of Godhead is not formless. He is Purusham, or the enjoyer, the original person. He is the time element and is all cognizant. He knows everything, past, present, and future, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, I know everything, present, past, and future, in every corner of the universe. The material world, which is moving under the spell of the three modes of nature, is also a manifestation of his energy. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. Everything that we see is an interaction of his energies. Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6.8. Parasya Brahmana Shaktis Tathedam Akhilam Jagat. This is the version of the Vishnu Purana. This entire world is the potency, is the Shakti of the Parabrahman, Vishnu. We can understand that whatever we see is an interaction of the three modes of material nature, but actually it is all an interaction of the Lord's energy. Lokapalam is actually the maintainer of all living entities. Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam. He is the chief of all living entities. He is one, but he maintains many, many living entities. God maintains all other living entities, but no one can maintain God. That is his Swachanda Shakti. He is not dependent on others. Someone may call himself independent, but he is still dependent on someone higher. The personality of Godhead, however, is absolute. There is no one higher than or equal to him. Kapila Muni appeared as a son of Kardama Muni. But because Kapila is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kardama Muni offered respectful obeisance unto him with full surrender. Another word in this verse is very important. Atmanubhutyanu prapancham. The Lord descends either as Kapila or Rama, Nrsimha or Varaha. Whatever forms he assumes in the material world are all manifestations of his own personal internal energy. They are never forms of the material energy. The ordinary living entities who are manifested in this material world have bodies created by the material energy. But when Krishna or any one of his expansions or parts of the expansion descends to this material world, although he appears to have a material body, his body is not material. He always has a transcendental body. But fools and rascals, who are called moodhas, consider him one of them, and therefore they deride him. They refuse to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead because they cannot understand him. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Avajananti mam moodha. Those who are rascals and fools deride me. When God descends in a form, this does not mean that he assumes his form with the help of the material energy. He manifests his spiritual form as he exists in a spiritual kingdom. 34. Sma Asmabhipritchedya patim prajanam Vayavatirnarna utapta kama Parivrajat padavim astitoham Charishye tvam hridi yunjan Vishoka. Today I have something to ask from you, who are the Lord of all living entities. Since I have now been liberated by you from my debts to my father, and since all my desires are fulfilled, I wish to accept the order of an itinerant mendicant. Renouncing this family tie, I wish to wander about free from lamentation, thinking always of you in my heart. Sma bhiti padapurnartham. Apricche. Adya samprati sannyasartham agyam prarthaye. I am requesting you for, I am praying to you for your order for me to take sannyas, for your permission to take sannyas right now. Tvaya hetuna avatirnam nivrittam praja iti pituragya-rupam rinam yasya saha. By your appearance, the debt that I had to my father, which was in the form of the fulfillment of a command given by him, that you should now produce offspring, that has been fulfilled. Aptakamaha, purna manodataha. All my desires are fulfilled, which means all of my cherished desires are filled. Cha aham parivrajattam sannyasinam padavim asitaha tvam hridi yunjan smaran charishye yataha tataha paryatishyami. I am in the post of the sannyasis. I wish to wander while remembering you in my heart. I want to keep you in my heart means I want to remember you. So with this, I would like to travel about. Atrashi Kardamena Manasi Evam Paramrishtam. Now, Lord Sri Kapila was considering in his mind, Shuklabhidane Shri Narayane Matprabhau Mama Ajanmatah Eva Dasanishta Varivarti. So Sri Kardama was thinking like this, that my Lord, my Master, Sri Narayana, with the name Shukla, I had been fixed in servitude towards him very strongly from my very birth. Samprati putri bhute cha asmin durvaram vatsalyamapi udeshyati eva. Now that he has become my son, inevitably affection will arise in me for him. Iti dasya vatsalyayohu yaugapadyam na rasavaham. Dasya and vatsalya being simultaneous does not bring about a relish of rasa. किंच अपि अयम ईश्वरः स्वतन्त्रः एव मां शोकसमुद्रे निमज्य अचरादेव प्रव्रजिष्यति अतः प्रथमम् अहमेव किं न प्रव्रजामि. Now this is the Lord here. He is independent. He is going to drown me in an ocean of sorrow, and very quickly he is going to go become a sannyasi. He will become parivrajaka. Therefore, first of all, why shouldn't I become a sannyasi? Nacha grihe avatirnam prabhum vihaya gachatah mama atra aparadha. There is no offense on my part that I am leaving my own master who has appeared in my home. Yataha asmakam vaishnavanam mate bhajaniya bhu khalu bhajanadinaha iti bhajaniyadapi bhajane bhuyan agraha. Because in the opinion of us Vaishnavas, the object of worship, the Lord who is the object of worship, is subordinate to the worship. There is greater agraha or eagerness in bhajana or bhajana kriya than in the object of bhajana kriya, than the Lord who is worshipped through bhajana kriya. Agraha kartum uchitah, this is appropriate for us Vaishnavas. Iti asya bhajanam eva ashtayamikam viviktaranye nishpratyuham chikirshami. So he desired to, without any obstacles, engage in bhajana kriya in a secluded forest for all the 8 divisions of the day and night. Wait, let me also quickly check if Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has said anything here. He has not said anything for that before. Actually, sannyas or renunciation of material household life necessitates complete absorption in Krishna consciousness and immersion in the self. One does not take sannyas, freedom from family responsibility in the renounced order of life, to make another family or to create an embarrassing transcendental fraud in the name of sannyas. Sannyasi's business is not to become proprietor of so many things and amass money from the innocent public. A sannyasi is proud that he is always thinking of Krishna within himself. Of course, there are 2 kinds of devotees of the Lord. One is called Goshtyanandi, which means those who are preachers and have many followers for preaching the glories of the Lord, and who live among those many followers just to organize missionary activities. Other devotees are called Atmanandi or self-satisfied and do not take the risk of preaching. They therefore remain alone with God. In this classification was Kardama Muni. He wanted to be free from all anxieties and remain alone within his heart with the Supreme Personality of God. For him, Vraja means an itinerant mendicant. A mendicant sannyasi should not live anywhere for more than 3 days. He must be always moving, because his duty is to move from door to door and enlighten people about Krishna consciousness. 35. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Okay, question.
Prabhu, like the commentary was saying that because Lord is going to take sannyas, he thought that before him I should take it. So if Kardam Muni is, he was affected by this separation, he could have stayed some more time at home to get more of Lord's association if he was so worried about the separation.
No, but because he is engaged in devoted service, he can realize the Supreme Lord within his own heart. There are also other complex considerations I don't want to bring up here. But if you study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then you'll have a better understanding. It has something to do with rasa. Okay.
Okay. And
Why
Prabhu,
sannyasi? Yes.
I think this question is asked. This 3 days living more than 3 days, this injunction, not living more than 3 days, this can be practiced these days also?
This can be
Practiced like at present times also?
Yeah, generally sannyasis, they do these things. Now, if you're for everything, if you're asking within ISKCON how to do and all that, I don't know. But in Vedic civilization, they do this, Sannyasi means you give up everything. You give up everything. In India, that's what they expect from sannyas. Brahmachari, sannyasi, separated vanaprastha. These people are not supposed to have, they're not meant to be entangled like householders. We are not supposed to be just householders without a wife. In India, they expect a lot more than this. That's because that is in Vedic culture, that's how it is. Okay, here is the question. Why sannyasi can live even for 3 days? He should not supposed to be, he should not, he is not supposed to stay at one place for 1 day. He is not even supposed to stay in one place for 1 day. Is that so? But I've always been told 3 days. 3 days, 3 nights. That much is allowed. This all comes in Dharma Shastras. Is it mandatory to give dakshina when sannyasi visits one's home or place? When a genuine sannyasi visits one's home or place and we give dakshina, then that will greatly help us in spiritual progress. That is why these arrangements are there. It will give us vairagya, vidya, bhakti. Something wrong with this.
So one more question was there, the previous question that that was mentioned in the previous slokas. Yogis also takes many births to become successful. So the same thing also for devotional service also. They also take many births to become successful.
Are you saying something? Are you asking something?
Yeah, I am asking that then where is the difference?
No, but by default, if you engage in Uttama Bhakti, it will not take so much time. Only those who engage in non-Uttama Bhakti, they will take time. Okay? Okay, it's 9
Yes, sir.
o'clock. Let's stop with this. Okay, fine. So we are supposed to resume from text 35. Fine. Vanchadalputruvesya kripasinduਭ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.